who's really tough to play here at home, Melanie.
They are. It's something you have to say something about Clyde Field Magic. First time here, BYU on Clyde Field for the first time, and it couldn't be a better night.
So far this season, Utah Valley is undefeated at home. If we take a look at some of the highlights in the background, Utah Valley coming off of a victorious, gritty win last week. Their record right now 3-0 at home, 2 goals per game average, and 11.7 shots per game, Melanie.
Yeah, like I said, Clyde Field Magic, we've seen it in the past. We've seen it especially this season. Those stats are amazing. They know how to really bring it in this game on this field.
And on the other side of the road, I guess, other side of University Parkway down to Provo, this known athlete right here, Elise Flake, has been absolutely sublime, as our producer put it. And there's really no other way to put it. She's been on fire for BYU so far.
There's not a better way to put it. All WCC player preseason votes on the Mac Herman watch list, has scored 6 goals so far this season, 2 being against the number 12 team in the nation.
And it's not just Elise Flake. Utah Valley will have their toughest task so far on this season. Top to bottom, starting 11 for BYU is absolutely superb. But Utah Valley is going to look to try and catch lightning in a bottle next on UVU TV.
Sportsmanship on the field,
on the track, on the court, in the pool,
and in the stands.
We take pride in playing fair and being honest.
We honor the game by showing respect for our opponents,
the officials,
the fans, and our team.
Great sportsmanship is about keeping everything in perspective.
It's about taking ownership after a loss.
and being humble after a win.
We hope you'll team up with us by staying positive on the sidelines. Because great sportsmanship is what unites us.
We are the Western Athletic Conference.
Oh, hey, you got one of those insurance apps too? You know how this thing works?
No, sorry. Not an app, it's my agent.
In this moment,
No, I'm fine, thanks.
it's good to know you have a trusted, independent auto owner's insurance agent who's there when you need them.
Great.
Man, I gotta get one of those.
Auto Owners Insurance, the no problem people.
Neil Dastrup Insurance, your local independent auto owners insurance agency, supports UVU athletics.
Valley.
What's the difference between buying from Murdoch and buying from somebody else? In a word, confidence. You'll love our price match guarantee, our 5-day exchange policy,
and don't forget car washes and safety inspections for life.
If you need a new vehicle, consider Murdoch Hyundai. I promise you'll love it. Get more vehicle for your dollar from Utah's largest Hyundai dealer. Drive home a new 2019 Hyundai Tucson for only $199 a month, or you'll love the new Elantra for only $13,990. Go ahead and compare at MurdochHyundai.com.
You've got to come and see it in Logan, Linden, and Murray.
The latest from KSL 5 News, including breaking news as it happens, and all your favorite KSL shows, ready to watch anytime. Download the free KSL app right now on all your favorite devices.
Looking to spend that birthday money, Tyler? I'm just not sure which one to get. Well, they are both pretty cool. But saving some of that money would be pretty cool too. Yep.
When's the right age to teach your children how to save and spend money wisely? Right now, with the Be Money Smart program only at Utah Community Credit Union. Inspiring smart decisions.
What's the difference between buying from Murdoch and buying from somebody else?
In a word, confidence. You'll love our price match guarantee, our 5-day exchange policy,
and don't forget car washes and safety inspections for life. If you need a new vehicle, consider Murdoch Chevrolet. I promise you'll love it.
Before you even think about buying a new truck or SUV, you've got to check out MurdochChev.com. You'll be glad you did.
We've got huge discounts on all 2018 models, and you're going to love the 2019 Silverado. Only at Murdoch Chevrolet in Logan and Woods Cross. You've got to come and see.
Here at Intermountain Healthcare, our doctors have experience treating young athletes, professional athletes, and the athlete next door. We treat everyday injuries, sports injuries, concussions, total joint replacements, and everything in between. Come visit our board-certified physicians and surgeons here at Intermountain Healthcare's Utah Valley Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Clinic. We're committed to keeping you moving.
You only need to answer one question. Will you accept the challenge to become? No matter where you are in life, no matter your interests, from award-winning accounting to marketing and entrepreneurship programs, there's a place for you at Utah Valley University. A place to engage, to rise, to succeed, to become.
Beautiful national anthem serenading the crowd. Utah Valley versus BYU from Orem, Utah, on the campus of Utah Valley University, Clyde Field to be exact. The first ever meeting on this field between the Cougars of BYU and the Wolverines of Utah Valley University. Take a look at the starting 11 for the Wolverines. Top to bottom, familiar faces for the Wolverine faithful. Bree Hatch, the former transfer from BYU, the sister of BYU standout, NWSL standout Ashley Hatch. Amber Tripp, Hannah Bruce, Maddie Moore, Julie Carter, Megan Sullivan, Katie Haskins, Jenna Shepard, Heather Stainbrook, Bree DeWall, and Allie Hara. And on the other side for the Cougars, your starting 11, wearing their Royals tonight. Jamie Shepard, Rachel Bingham-Lyman, Danica Saracio, Lizzie Braby, Elise Flake, Alyssa Jefferson, Michaela Colohan, Josie Gwynn, Cameron Tucker, Sarah Jane Affleck, and Sabrina Davis. Utah Valley in their home grays. They used to be whites. They switched it up a little bit, so it's a little bit of a different color with their green trim. They're pumped up and ready to go. And then again, Utah Valley's opponent, BYU, in their Royals, the royal blue with the white trim. It's a beautiful evening here in Orem, Utah, just south of Salt Lake City, about 35-40 miles south. For those who haven't been in the area, game time temperature 76 degrees, light breeze coming in from the south at the moment, about 2-3 miles an hour. We'll see how that plays out through the remainder of the match. But a big storyline again, the proverbial David versus Goliath. Sounds cliche, but Utah Valley, first ever hosting the Cougars at BYU, 4.5 miles away, up by 15. Game on, Wolverines and the Cougars. Utah Valley, as we see it and you see it, going from right to left, and the Cougars of BYU, as you see it and we see it, going from left to right. BYU ranked 10th in the coaches poll. And it'd be a very difficult task for Utah Valley. But head coach Chris LeMay has been prepping his team for matches like this by playing very difficult pre-conference schedules.
Yeah, and that's exactly why he does it. They have this experience. They know what it feels like to be in this pressured situation. They know what it takes. And ultimately, UVU is very good at playing up to their competition. And so we're in for a really great game with these two.
Heather Stainbrook switches it on the outside for a sprinting Megan Sullivan. Sullivan corrals it, swings this one in toward the box, headed away by BYU. Sullivan again with it at her feet. Amber Tripp being pressured. Swings this one back toward the box, takes a couple deflections, but right in the hands of the goalkeeper, Sabrina Davis.
A great way to start the game for UVU, though. They know that what it takes is them to get on their feet, get on their toes, and put the pressure on BYU first, and then they can gel back into their style of game.
You played in many of these matches, Melanie, against this team, and it's very interesting. I Googled it, I did, and trying to see how many different universities there were that were actually closer together in proximity than BYU and UVU. There are several, but it's still very close, only separated by 4.5 miles. A core group of these girls for both squads have grown up playing with each other, so they're very familiar with each other. Coach Anderson for BYU, assistant coach, was the head coach here at UVU. You played under him, he recruited you here, so very similar. How do you separate those lines in a match like this?
It's right when you step on the field, it's game time. You guys are playing against a different team. You're friends before and after, but once you step on the field, it's time to go. And it's exciting. It's fun. It adds to that excitement, and it's a great soccer atmosphere between the two teams.
Megan Sullivan trying to go against Elise Flake. Elise Flake again leading the BYU Cougars in scoring, and she has been red hot, one of the players that we highlighted for BYU in the Open. Third minute here at Clyde Field. BYU and UVU still feeling each other out. Be a BYU throw-in. BYU swings it into the box. This one kicked up and out of play by Utah Valley. And this one headed away by Amber Tripp on the far side. And another BYU throw-in. BYU undefeated so far on the season. Most recently coming off of the home victory against number 12 ranked Texas A&M last week on Thursday. And here's Affleck with the shot. This one will be cleared away by Katie Haskins. In full capacity crowd here at Clyde Field. They brought in extra bleachers to be put on the sides, and everything is full. BYU does not give up goals. UVU does not lose at home. Push comes to shove. Something's got to give tonight. And BYU trying to drum up some offense early on. There's an opportunity in the box early. Swung in outside and kicked over the net by Bingham Lyman.
Bingham really is a great outside back. You see her getting up into the attack. Very similar style of play as UVU, but just they're already strong very offensively. And it just shows that they're not afraid to add in any numbers into their attack.
Taking a look at Ali Hara's stats so far this season. Ali Hara coming over from the WCC from San Diego, very familiar with BYU, having played against them in the same conference. And Ali Hara, like we've mentioned so many times in this broadcast, Melanie, throughout the season, is just that added leadership of that fifth-year player is something that you can't teach.
She is definitely a game changer for this UVU team, and it has been phenomenal of her leadership and her skills. And we missed her those few games because of injuries, and luckily she tried it back up in UTEP and felt great after, and so she's back, she's strong, and probably stronger than ever today to try to get that revenge on BYU.
6th minute, Utah Valley started out the match with possession. So far the past couple minutes, it's been all BYU. Brita Wall gets his back for Utah Valley. Shepard plays this one back to Hara. Hara to the near side, and Hannah Bruce. Hannah Bruce chests this one down in front of her. This one kicked out of play by BYU. Be a throw-in for the Wolverines. Stainbrook to Bruce. Bingham Lyman. And to the midfield. Colahan switches it up, goes left. Gwynn pushes it up, trying to find Flake. Katie Haskins. Now all the way back to Hara. Shepard. A little bit of a lazy pass there. Errant giveaway. Good tackle for Utah Valley. Cleared away by Megan Sullivan. Very uncharacteristic of Jenna Shepard.
Yeah, pretty weak pass, little more pace, little square too. You see just not enough pace to get to Megan Sullivan. Little too square as well, allows BYU to pick it right off. It's those moments that you gotta be 100%, and you have to be so technical with your passes and your mind, your thought process.
This one headed away by Shepard. And then kicked away again by Utah Valley. Now in a rivalry match, it's very difficult, very strenuous to be mentally focused the whole 45 minutes for the first half, 45 for the second. But it's those little moments, like you said, especially against a team like BYU, especially right here with Elise Flake, who's going to put on a shot right at Hara. You can't let your guard down because they will make you pay.
You cannot. It's so crucial. We've seen it too. That probably will be UVU's biggest task this game, is to stay focused, stay mentally prepared, stay strong. Because we have seen when they stay strong, they're tough, they can compete with these top 10 teams, but the minute they let their guards down and take that mental break, that's where we've seen the weakest moment with this team. So a crucial task for them this game is to stay in it mentally and give it their all every second of this game.
And you could take a look at it from Utah Valley's perspective with a lot of freshmen, a lot of youngsters, as BYU plays a nice through ball here. Inside the box with Flake. Flake goes to her right, deflected away by Utah Valley. Breida Wall will calmly kick it over to Amber Tripp. Now this one, a poor pass by Utah Valley. Now BYU again deep inside of Utah Valley territory. Bingham Lyman and Bree Hatch in the box will kick it away. Jefferson pushes it up to Bingham Lyman. This one taken away by Utah Valley. Hannah Bruce. Now Bree Hatch. And Hannah Bruce again. Bruce going to turn it upfield with the left boot. Looking for Stainbrook. Alyssa Jefferson. All the way back to Sabrina Davis. Going back to the point I was going to mention earlier, Melanie, is with so many youngsters and freshmen, they don't really have the and ooh glare or the intimidation factor really of BYU, and this is a game for them to really go out and just play soccer.
Yeah, it is, and odds more in UVU's favor for that. They haven't experienced, from all the teams in the past, this team is the most strong, most technical, knows soccer very well for the best opportunities to attack against BYU.
There's Braby down the end line. This one headed away by Shepard. Bingham Lyman again, right into the arms of Ali Hara. He's taking another look at this clearance. Shepard doing what she does best, getting herself in the right position to head that one away to ease the threats from the Cougars as we are in the 10th minute. Now this back line for BYU, led by Alyssa Jefferson, the senior from Sandy, Utah, has only allowed one goal on this season. That was against Mississippi State in the Deep South, and a goal that Alyssa Jefferson says she takes credit for because it was a PK.
It's impressive. You know you have a good team when you produce the goals and you prevent the goals. And ultimately, you got to credit a lot of that defensive success to the offense, because the offense ultimately brings it up. Defense protects Sabrina, as you saw with the stats, and makes for a solid team.
Several of these players have played together. They have returned quite a few for BYU and Coach Rockwood's crew, especially the whole back line. They returned them all, and they said that a big part of their early success so far this season has been the fact that they don't have to replace any missing parts. They can just continue to go, continue to move forward. And speaking of defense, Utah Valley coming up and making a stop before BYU can make a run in the box. Now Breida Wall with it for the Wolverines. Bree Hatch. This one goes all the way back. Jefferson again with it. Very tactical match between the two teams so far. Maddie Moore playing in her second official game. Now Hannah Bruce. Breida Wall sent this one all the way back to Hara for the reset. Thank you again for letting us be a part of your Monday evening, Monday Night Football here on UVU TV, broadcasting to the world on the WAC Digital Network, on YouTube, as well as the KSL TV app. Head coach Chris LeMay, his third season as UVU head coach.
I know this game is something that Coach Chris LeMay loves and is so excited that he's been able to get all three of these, or every season of that he's been here, being able to play BYU. I know during that hiring process, that was his number one. He came 2 years earlier where UVU made it to the national tournament, got the draw of going down the Parkway for their first round of NCAA tournament. And since then, Coach Chris LeMay knows that if he schedules these games, it will reduce the chances of UVU and BYU meeting up in the tournament.
Here's a giveaway by Utah Valley. Now here comes BYU on the attack. Now they're laying it off to the near side. Braby goes to her left. Just outside the box, cuts back to her right, has some open space. Flicked up in the air, again by that back line of Utah Valley. Great move by Braby to create her own space. I thought she might have taken a shot on goal. Instead, she was trying to lay off, be unselfish. And Jenna Shepard there to hit that one away. Now Amber Tripp gets the ball back into BYU territory, something we haven't seen for the first couple minutes. And a giveaway there after a deflection. BYU trying to do what they do best and produce counterattacks. Good touch to get that one past Flake. That one booted out of play by Ali Hara. Bree Hatch. He's a player that knows her former teammates very well. Now Bruce up the field to Heather Stainbrook. Stainbrook looking for some help. Stainbrook being pressured, gives off to Breida Wall. Back to Bruce. This one gets by Hannah Bruce. That'll be a throw-in in a very dangerous territory. 15th minute here at Clyde Field. A quarter of an hour has passed. Both teams with a shot on goal. And BYU's throw gets back to Lyman. Lyman going 1v1 with Bruce toward that end line. And Bruce sticks her toe out to keep that one away from the box. It'll be a corner kick for the Cougars. Lizzie Braby will set up for the corner kick. She waits for some little kids who want to get in on the action to walk by, some little pedestrians. This one is in swing toward the near post. Not cleared at all by Utah Valley. Still in a dangerous spot. Finally punched away by the Wolverines. Utah Valley very lucky, as BYU is very good at cleaning up the garbage. And this one kicked high up in the air. And then finally booted past midfield by Utah Valley. Jefferson looking for some help. Julie Carter making chase for Utah Valley as this one goes all the way across on the left-hand side of the pitch. Chested down by the Cougars. Braby looking for some help, surrounded by some gray and green shirts. Now plays all the way back. Serasio now upfield. Gwynn slicing and dicing her way. 16th minute. BYU gets across. Shot is blocked and kicked away by Stainbrook.
A great defensive effort by UVU. Team defending right there. All three players, given that they're all sacrificing their body, get in the touch so it can get out of BYU's possession.
Amber Tripp taken away. And Flake with the mistouch. And cleared out all the way to Breida Wall. Breida Wall in full sprint with Braby chasing. Cuts back toward the middle. Tries to back heel flick to Bree Hatch. Bree Hatch tries to plays it up for Heather Stainbrook. A little bit too far. Jefferson's going to play it all the way back to Davis.
A great look by Bree Hatch playing into that space. They know that they need to try to beat them. The deep back line is so pacey, where the only option may be to play it into that space to have it run. Heather maybe thought that it was coming to her feet, wasn't quite ready for that ball into space, but overall a great look at Bree Hatch. Overall, she's the one who knows most of how to beat that defensive line.
Katie Haskins playing defense, stays her ground. Solid takeaway for the newcomer for Utah Valley. And this one kicked out of play. It'll be a Utah Valley throw-in. Haskins against Flake. And Haskins stays her ground and dispossesses.
Perfect defending right there. Everything you teach right there. It's keeping her composure, keeping it cool, waiting for that one touch that gets an inch too far away from Flake, and then stabbing in and winning the ball. Great defensive play.
There's a good look at head coach Jennifer Rockwood. 25th season as BYU head coach. And that record pretty impressive, as it says it all. 380, 113, and 43. And then right next to her, head coach Brent Anderson, who was the Utah Valley head coach for 11 seasons, who you know very well, Melanie.
I do, and I can't say enough good things about him. He's a great coach, and they are so lucky to have him.
Davis kicks it up to Lyman. Hannah Bruce with Braby. And this one goes off of BYU. Hannah Bruce going to try and take this one in quickly. And Bree Hatch switches up the field. Amber Tripp, too hard of a touch. Gets away from her. Right back into BYU possession. Houlihan now back to Braby again. 19th minute here at Clyde Field in Orem, Utah. Still 0-0, both teams with a shot on goal. Utah Valley, no corner kicks. BYU with one corner. Katie Haskins just got done with a fantastic defensive stop. Now here is BYU. Braby, top of the box. She's going to put a shot off the post. Ali Hara was beat with that ball. She was in the right position, but Braby put loft on this one.
The closest shot of them all so far. BYU showing you give them an inch too much, and they will pull the trigger anywhere that they're at.
Still scoreless here. 20th minute. Hannah Bruce now trying to take on the counterattack for BYU. The closing speed from Braby and BYU. Breida Wall giving chase to Lyman. And this one stays Utah Valley ball. Bree Hatch to Stainbrook. Amber Tripp trying to crash in. Megan Sullivan coming in from behind for Utah Valley. Now here's Amber Tripp. Little opportunity for the Wolverines. Amber Tripp with some fancy footwork lays this one off. Bouncing around inside the box before ultimately kicked out of play. Out of danger by BYU. Amber Tripp with some fancy footwork, thought she might have pulled the trigger there.
She thought about it for a split second. Maybe it wasn't as good of an option as she thought it was. Decided to dish it off to Julie Carter, and unfortunately BYU stepped 3 players at the same time.
Maddie Moore, and a whistle is blown in a very dangerous territory giving a free kick opportunity to the Cougars. See, Maddie Moore comes in from behind.
We've seen on the corner kick exactly what you said. BYU is so good at getting the trash, getting these balls that may bounce around in the box. And so, again, another crucial task for UVU of clearing the ball first time, not letting the ball bounce around in the 18 in these dangerous spots.
BYU will take this free kick in the 22nd minute. About 30 yards away. The Cougars in Royal size it up. There's the shot over the head of Ali Hara. That did not lack pace at all.
It did not. A little lower, and it would unfortunately be right in the back of the net.
There's the shot. Decent rotation on it. Ali Hara watches it go over. Braby, another great touch, that time by Flake. Flake knows exactly what she's doing. Snuffs it out. And Hara again coming to the near side, and Hannah Bruce. Hannah Bruce kicks this one upfield. Took a deflection. Cameron Tucker. You're actually going to call that one off of Utah Valley. Now Maddie Moore finds herself the recipient of the ball. Now Amber Tripp, back to Moore. Back upfield. Now switching it to Megan Sullivan, flying in from the far side. Sullivan gets dispossessed. This one kicked out of play, be a throw-in for BYU.
UVU showing off their skill, showing that they are a technical team, technical enough to compete with this top 10 team. That one touch, give and go, getting the ball off the foot really moved them from half to the 18 very quickly. If we see more of that, eventually building up closer to the 18, they can be a very dangerous team to this BYU team.
Hannah Bruce trying to do a little too much, gives way for BYU, and another dangerous opportunity. This one bounces off of Jenna Shepard inadvertently. No handball is called. The BYU faithful wanting a handball. Jenna Shepard, no, she got away with what could have been very dangerous as we take a look at this Bruce interaction.
An odd moment for Hannah Bruce, getting caught up, getting her feet caught under her a little bit. Unfortunately loses the ball and creates that defensive breakdown.
'25th minute, still scoreless here at Clyde Field. Heather Stainbrook takes one off the back. Bree Hatch and boots this one upfield. Bree DeWall trying to make chase. Instead, Davis will corral that and kick it around the pitch on the left-hand side. Amber Tripp dispossesses, and then finally a late whistle is called. Alex Crello took his time with that blown whistle. Amber Tripp had at least 5 or 6 steps on it. So Coulihan with it. Sullivan now for Utah Valley. Boots this one upfield. Bree Wall streaking on the left-hand side for Utah Valley. Now Maddie Moore with the turn. Gives way to Bree Hatch. Bree Hatch has some options on her left-hand side. She goes Bree Wall, dummies to Hannah Bruce. Bruce is going to go. Cuts back to her right. Send this one in toward the box. Just too far over the head. Jenna Shepard keeps it in play for Utah Valley. Ball bouncing all over the place. Back in possession for the Cougars. Lyman on the near side. There's a couple substitutes for BYU set to check in. Flake guarded by Bruce. Flake cuts to her left. And then kicked out of play by Sullivan. Julie Carter. Julie Carter with it now for Utah Valley. Judy Carter. Back to Bree Hatch. Bree Hatch trying to chip this one through past Jefferson for DeWall. Can't get there. Jefferson skirts around DeWall. Jefferson escapes with the ball for BYU. Some decent buildups here for Utah Valley, but now here's Flake. Flake in a very dangerous spot. Kick save and a beauty by Alihara.
Elise Flake showing what she can do. Getting that touch around the defense, the most dangerous thing for her to do, but Alihara coming in clutch, doing what we anticipate her to do. A beautiful stop by Alihara.
We talked about her being a game changer, and that was a game-changing moment right there.
It was a split second too slow on that reaction, and that ball would have been in the back of the net.
Let's take a look at it. Flake placing herself perfectly. Shepard a little too overzealous, and a quick trigger right at Hara, who was perfectly placed.
You saw her placement in between the two center backs, right behind one of our center back and right in front of our other. That puts her in a position where she immediately, just like that, beat one of our anchors of our defensive line without beating Katie Haskins just like that, and leaving Jenna Shepard vulnerable like that is why Elise Flake is up for all the runnings that she is.
This ball will go all the way back to Hara as Coach LeMay sends in a substitute to check in as well. It looks like Sadie Brockbank will check in for Utah Valley, and coming in for the Cougars,
Your substitution.
McKaylee Moore,
Cameron Tucker, number 9, Sarah Jane
Rachel
Affleck.
McCarthy. Sadie Brockbank coming out for Julie
Checking in
Carter.
number 3,
Coming off of the pitch
Moore, and
for the
number
Cougars,
33, Rachel McCarthy.
Sarah Jane Affleck.
Wolverines substitution
And
number
Cameron
10,
Tucker. As we see
Julie
Hannah
Carter,
Bruce
please walk off.
saying my bad,
11, Sadie
trying to explain
Brockbank.
herself to her teammates. Team captain taking full responsibility, doing what captains do. As we approach the half-hour mark now in the match. BYU in the box. BYU dancing around. Megan Sullivan getting pulled and tangled around, and they're going to call a foul against the Cougars.
Great job by Megan Sullivan.
Alihara comes to the near side, and Bruce, as we see Coach LeMay encouraging Bruce to get upfield, looking for Bree DeWall. This one shanks off of Lyman. Will go out of play. As the whistle blows, Jefferson was unable to keep that in play. Jefferson looks to be coming up just a little bit gimpy. We'll keep an eye on that for you. Nice turn by Sadie Brockbank. And they're going to call it goal kick as that one last deflected off of Sadie Brockbank. Solid defending there by Lyman. Again, thank you for joining us here on this Monday evening. Brandon Crow alongside Melanie Osler on UVU TV, the WAC Sports Digital Network, KSL TV app, and YouTube as well. Number 10 in the coaches poll, BYU taking on the Utah Valley Wolverines for the first time ever at Clyde Field. Sabrina Davis for the Cougars lines up her goal kick, sends it to the left-hand side. Jenna Shepard deflects it. Here comes BYU again. Their attack always lurking in the distance. Amber Tripp, slide tackle, dispossession. Earns the applause of the hometown crowd. Serasio with the left boot. Right to Megan Sullivan. Sullivan passing it to the official, trying to find Maddie Moore. This one bounces out of play And it'll be a Utah Valley throw-in. It's a great showing so far in the first 30 minutes of this match for Utah Valley against this top-ranked opponent and rival, as we see Sadie Brockbank and Heather Stainbrook fighting for the ball. Sadie Brockbank comes away with a foul, and the referee is going to reach into his pocket. Jamie Shepard receives a yellow card, the first booking after that takedown.
A great job by Sadie Brockbank, showing off her speed, showing off her strength, nearly getting past Jamie Shepard, leaving it for the only option of having to foul her to slow down the play and get BYU's numbers behind her.
Bree Hatch sizes one up with the wind behind her, looking for Maddie Moore, who is streaking for that backside. And Sabrina Davis calmly with one knee on top of the ball will wait for her teammates to get back into position. Davis again to the left-hand side. Bree Hatch coming in against Braby. And Sullivan fouls Braby. It'll be a free kick for the Cougars. We're now within Amber Tripp. Bree Hatch kicks it out of play. It'll be a BYU throw-in. 33 minutes have passed so far in this first half. And it's moments like this where Utah Valley really has to nail down that defense. Can't let anything slip. And substitution made by BYU. Checking on to the pitch, Ashton Brockbank. Coming off, Michaela Coulihan. Stainbrook coming up to make the stop, get it out of play momentarily. BYU defense has time yet again to settle back in. Lyman on the near side. Hannah Bruce steps in front, gets taken down from behind. Another foul called against the Cougars. Rachel McCarthy comes away with a smile and a grin on her face, as Alex Crello has a little bit of a discussion with her. Hannah Bruce taking her time with this. Bruce sends this one in and curls right in front of the BYU bench. Here, Coach Jennifer Rockwood in the distance saying, start connecting, Blues, start connecting. And BYU, that's been one of their staples, has been rhythmic passing. And you got to tip your hats off to Coach LeMay and this Utah Valley 11 out there for disrupting it.
They are definitely disrupting it, and they are doing a great job. It's exactly what I always say, is just play your game. UVU is doing that right now. They don't care that UVU is good at, or BYU is good at passing the ball around, possessing. They know that they can possess it just as well. And so they're like, well, let's prevent them from possessing, and we'll take it and do the possession ourselves. And they have been a great job, doing a great job for disrupting that for BYU.
Rachel Anderson checks on. Fresh legs for Coach LeMay's squad. Stepping off, Amber Tripp. Serasio going up the pitch. Now BYU in the center circle. This one dispossessed. Pre-to-all. Blast this one. McKaylee Moore taking some deep breaths after taking that one in the stomach. Again, 35th minute, about 10 minutes left here in the first half. Utah Valley and BYU. Haskins, very well to kick it out of play. BYU again with that fast-paced tempo. Gets it back into the pitch. See a big difference in shots. BYU with 8 shots to Utah Valley's 1 as Hannah Bruce tries to win this one. Gets a boot on it. Still in BYU possession, however. McCarthy dispossessed by Bruce. Still in a very dangerous spot for the Cougars. Lyman now with it. Gives the ball back. Lyman towards that end line. Lyman towards the back post. And this one will go out of play. It's an odd time for a game on a Monday, but Utah Valley will have another home game on Friday morning. And BYU, this is one of 3 games this week as they travel to Kansas and then at Kansas State. '37th minute. BYU and UVU. Thank you for letting us be a part of your Monday evening here. Again, Brandon Crow alongside Melanie Osler. So far, pretty evenly played match, tactically speaking. And when you look at this game on paper, obviously people tend to favor BYU, but so far, Utah Valley stepping up to the challenge. Sadie Brockbank now for Utah Valley. Trying to connect with Breda Wall. This one goes out of play and a giveaway to the Cougars.
Checking in is number 16, Kendall Peterson.
Kendall Peterson checks in for Braby. And Coach Rockwood wanted to get another substitution in there, was not able to do so. And standing in the wings, waiting to come in. Flake dispossessed by Shepard. BYU swings this one in toward the box right at Alihara, scoops it up. Let's take a look. This one sailed in, flying toward that back post. Sadie Brockbank and company pressing now for Utah Valley. And a handball is called. This is a great position for Utah Valley. Handball called against BYU.
It is something that BYU is definitely not used to, especially this close to the box. Something going not in their favor, and a definite handball right outside the arc. Perfect opportunity for UVU to capitalize on.
Jamie Shepard gets the yellow card and the handball early on in this match. And Bree Hatch will do the honors against her former squad. Very dangerous position. We know Bree Hatch has a leg. Bree Hatch sizes it up, tries to go low. Sabrina Davis scoops it up. Good idea by Bree Hatch.
A great idea. She saw it. She saw the gaps on that defensive line. Unfortunately, probably 2 down the middle than she was hoping for, but either side of Sabrina Davis on that, and it would have been a great opportunity. Beautiful goal by Bree Hatch.
Alyssa Jefferson now for the Cougars. 40th minute. Less than 5 minutes to play here in the first half. Still knotted at 0. Both teams with 2 shots on goal. Lyman with it, splits the Utah Valley defense. McCarthy now back to Jefferson. Jefferson in the middle. Disrupted by Utah Valley. Megan Sullivan gets beat, and Haskins comes there for the rescue and kicks this one out of play. It'd be a corner kick for the Cougars. Take another look at Bree Hatch. Like you said, just good idea, but sure she would like to have different placement. Nicole Landa checks into the game for the first time for Breda Wall for Utah Valley, and Elise Flake will step off. And It looks like Ellie Mon will check in. BYU sets up with the corner. There's a left foot. All the way back. Serasio is going to send this one in toward Alihara, who lets it go out of play. '41st minute. Still 0-0 at Clyde Field. Alihara, who had a brilliant kick save to keep this thing knotted up at 0. Elise Flake trying to slot one through. Hara said no. Hannah Bruce doing well to keep this in play. Sadie Brockbank trying to give haste. This one stays in play. Sadie Brockbank has it. Still has it for the Wolverines. Bree Hatch thought Sadie Brockbank was going to try and make a play at her. Now quickly, here come the Cougars. They're so dangerous in this counterattack, led by Rachel McCarthy. Trying to swing this one over the top, right at Alihara.
Not the best idea from BYU. Kind of got a little frantic, panicked. But props to UVU for making her feel that way, to just kind of feel the need to get it off her foot carelessly.
Bree Hatch now to the near side again, and Hannah Bruce. Hannah Bruce with the left boot to Heather Stainbrook.